Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just getting set up here, letting everyone come into the room. Very much looking forward to spending the next hour with you. Just so you know, if we have the chat function open, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to do so. If you have specific questions that you would like us to answer, please do so in the Q&A box, and we will have a time to be able to answer them. I will be going through quite a lot of information, so get ready. This is interactive. Very happy to, if I don't answer the question immediately, it will be answered during our question time towards the end. Okay, I am going to get started. So Profit First, this webinar in particular, is specifically talking to Profit First as a service that generates revenue and return on investment, not to mention the impact on ourselves and our clients, but we're going to be specifically talking to what it means for accountants, because how we implement Profit First with our clients as an accountant is very different to how a bookkeeper or a coach may do so. And the one thing that I really want to ensure you walk away with today is how you understand that offering Profit First as a service gives accountants a really new high-value advisory service offering for their clients, as well as deliver proven results every time. Not only does it do it for your clients, but it does it for you as well, which the byproduct about it is business growth, revenue, new opportunities, word of mouth referrals, and of course, profitability. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, I do just want to talk a little bit about where we might be right now as accountants. And I say we because I'll explain in a minute. I do understand. At the moment, how many of us can relate to feeling worn down, frustrated, having, our clients on the phone to us, asking us, how am I going to get the money to do this, or stressing over their businesses, coming down to the mere fact that cash flow is one of the biggest problems we face as business owners. So how many of you have clients that have cash flow issues? I'd really love to understand that. So chuck it in the chat. I can see a few of you have raised your hand. Absolutely. How many of you get the look of shock when you tell your clients what tax might actually be payable if they're in that position and they're like, what? I know that I get that look a lot. And generally speaking, 80% of my clients that I deal with in my business have cash flow issues or don't know where their money is going, even if they are profitable. But more importantly, who here actually feels like they have a surplus of time available to them? Realistically, I know how much time it takes to keep up with the current changes in the industry, the legislation, the requirements from, our clients, just from a compliance level that is just dragging our time away. And I can see that there's a few of you that have put your hands up. So I really do understand, and I'm not trying to give you more things that are going to be more time consuming. And I also want to talk about the elephant in the room. How many of us actually feel underpaid for what they do? I know I certainly did, because we are constantly having to be that encyclopedia of all things accounting and tax related that isn't expected to be paying us the amount that they really should be. Whereas other industries, I'm not saying they're overpaid, but I've definitely been there before, where I feel like I'm being underpaid for all of the service that I'm providing while someone else is being overpaid in another industry. An example being, and I was talking to my co-director just the other day in one of my other businesses, and he's the senior accountant too. And we said, you know what, maybe we should become dentists. Do you want to know why? But what they charge to have a person come in and do their filling, the filling is always the same. It's the same thing, same way, same time, same amount of money, very profitable. And so I want to move us away from that underpaid feeling into being able to charge the fees that we want. But more importantly, I really want to talk to you about the 80-20 rule. Are any of you familiar of the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle? The Pareto principle is where I can see we've got a couple of people have raised their hands, nice, is where 80% of outcomes should be coming from 20% of work. How many of you are actually doing 80% of the work with 20% of the outcomes you desire. I know I definitely felt that way when I was working really hard in my accounting business. What if we could keep it simple? What if there was something that our clients can understand? And there is, it's Profit First. You all know that, and that's what we're talking about today. And what I want to share with you is what Profit First is, how the certification works, what Profit First services for accountants actually are and what they could look like, some real life examples from PFP accountants, and how this can work from you. But before we do that, I'm Laura. I'm the CEO of Profit First Professionals Australia and New Zealand. And you can see here friendly faces, our other PFPs on the screen with us from around Australia. I'm also a mother of two. I love to dance. I am an accountant, tax agent, and BAS agent. I'm the educator and trainer. And the most important thing is that I wanted my personal interests to be at the forefront of my life, my businesses. So I've been striving to create businesses that work for me rather than me for it. And that brings me to one of my businesses, Think Big Financial Group. So Think Big Financial Group is an accounting, bookkeeping, and financial services firm. We've been established for quite some time, and we have more than 500 clients. And we were running the rat race. Compliance was killing us. It was 40+ hour weeks, sometimes up to 60, 70 hours during tax time. No matter how efficient we got, it just felt hard until Profit First came into our world. And we then looked at how we could work a bit smarter and do more of the things that we love, which is the consulting with our clients that is simple for them to understand. So I do know exactly what it's like to be an accountant. I still am in that business today, and we still help majority of our clients with Profit First. So let's go into what is Profit First. I know how many of you here have a good understanding and know of Profit First. I'd love to see that. Okay, I can see a hand is raised. Awesome, a few of you. I won't spend too much time on it, but I do want to make sure we are on the same page. So as we know, the sales minus expenses equals profit is the accounting principle, and it's a broken formula. Accounting alone focuses on numbers that are retroactive, that, after we've paid for all of our expenses, hopefully we have a profit. And what we're doing with Profit First is flipping that formula so that sales minus profit equals expenses. So effectively we're saying that we're putting our profit first. We want to be profitable. And you can change the word profit to be purpose. You can change it to mean anything depending on your business goals. What happens though, is that if we don't concentrate on profit first and we just look at accounting principles alone, we're ignoring human behavior. Human behavior around numbers is for us to look at our bank account, is to decide whether we can spend money on something. Look at it and see there's a surplus. Sure, I'm going to go do that thing, and then forget that there's a bill coming. And so Profit First doesn't change the habit, it leverages them. So instead of trying to implement or teach a person to read a report that they're not interested in, they're already looking at their bank accounts. They're already making decisions in this way. And so let's not change that, let's leverage it. And I just want to talk for a second about behavior. So if we look at Parkinson's law, in related to time, is that whatever time we have available is how much time it's going to take to complete a task. How many of us here give ourselves half a day to complete something and that's how long it takes? Or we might give ourselves an hour and it's surprising what we can get done. It's the exact same thing when it comes to money. If we have one bank account that has $10,000 in it, we will spend that $10,000. It is part of our behavior. And so what Profit First is all about is portion size. So if you think about when you go to a buffet, for example, how many of us tend to overeat? I know I do. Whereas if you take a smaller portion on a plate, you will stick to that amount. It's the exact same thing with Profit First and having multiple bank accounts. The idea being that we remove that temptation to overspend because we've had a really good week or a really good month, that the profit and the tax and the GST that we think we'll have available to us when the time comes to pay our tax bills and GST bills, that we then use for something else, it removes that temptation. And so what I want to just quickly show you is what an allocation using the profit first methodology might look like for a startup to a $250,000 business. Now, these percentages are generalized percentages and absolutely can be changed to fit the business, the industry, and the person's requirements. But as a general rule, we're saying from whatever income you receive, 5% of that should be going to profit. 50% should be going to the owner. 15% of tax, and yes, I'll answer that question in a minute. And then 30% of expenses. But what's more important than percentage is the order of how they do things. The amount of times that I see people implementing profit first and doing it in an ad hoc fashion, or, putting a bit more to tax this week and less to all of these other things, and then, robbing Peter to pay Paul and that sort of stuff, and that's where it falls over. The order is everything. It is also leveraging and creating that pathway to create that mindset of putting money in an account where they can accumulate that cash profit. Ensuring and being the owner that gets paid for the hard work that they're putting in, ensuring that your tax and GST is paid for and that your expenses, you're not overspending there. And here's just a little snippet of what it actually looks like in a bank account. Yes, we have changed the details, so it's not a real thing that you're going to see. But the idea being that the income is where they receive all of their money. And whatever's sitting in that bank account then gets distributed on a percentage basis to the OPEX, operating expenses, tax, profit, and owner's pay in the order that I spoke about before. The other thing that is really important to know about profit first, and what we really drive home to our profit first professionals, is an implementation rhythm. The other thing that I see that really lets people down when they self-implement profit first is that they might do their distributions to their accounts on 1 week, on 1 day, and then they wait a month, and then they might do it 2 weeks later, and it's a bit ad hoc. You never really know what's happening in your business unless you set that implementation rhythm. And so whether that is weekly or fortnightly with when payroll's due, or monthly because that's where the majority of things come in and it makes sense for that business, whatever it is, it needs to be consistent. The other thing about profit first is that it's actually really flexible. Flexible in terms of you as the advisor to your clients. You can ask them at the very beginning of a conversation, what are you trying to achieve? And it may be that they're in survival mode right now, and the next step is to be able to just pay some bills. And so that may mean that the percentages are a lot higher when it comes to the operating expenses and the tax, because they're so far behind. But the goal being that ideal, so that you always have that lighthouse, that percentage to move towards. And it really is about rolling out your profit first in stages, so that you're meeting the person where they're at in their business to ultimately get to that goal of having the profit amount accumulating, to be paying themselves consistently, to not have to stress about tax or GST when it falls due, and to ensure that they can pay their bills. What's equally important and fun as an accountant in particular is this quarterly profit allocation. So I know a lot of accountants say, yeah, but depending on the structure, if they pull money out, it could actually do them a disservice tax. True. But being the accountant means that you can be on the forefront of really understanding how their business is set up, what that profit could be allocated towards, whether or not it actually leaves the account, or you create the buffer first, or you do a number of different things. And the profit first application of that profit account is threefold. One, it is to start that profit distribution that you only hear of in the big companies for small business. so that they can have a bit more fun in their personal life or reach personal goals. It is also about creating that buffer for that rainy day where, you know, something might hit and they need the funds and the income has dropped and they still have obligations they need to pay. But the other thing that the profit account does is that it is the fastest way for them to eliminate debt. So the profit account is where a percentage of their profit that they accumulate can be put towards a debt. The minimum payments come out of the operating expense account so that they are forever, you know, not getting behind on minimum payments, but using, you know, debt reduction strategies such as the debt snowball, utilizing the profit account to really create that momentum for them. The other thing to know is that Profit First isn't just a set and forget system. It's something that you get to stick with. It means that you get to distribute and adjust and be that trusted advisor with your client for the long term. Because as we all know, life changes and what we need can be different at any stage in life. And so what I really want to talk to you about are real life examples of what has happened for people that have implemented Profit First with a Profit First professional. So some of the examples are that their client went from below minimum wage to the desired wage that they wanted within 6 to 12 months of implementing Profit First. We've had other people that have increased their revenue by 50% by highlighting pricing issues through their Profit First assessment. We have had debt of $150,000 paid off in 18 months. We've also had someone who never traveled before with their family because they never had the funds to be able to do so, do it each year. Because for them, it was really important to spend time with their family. And knowing what money they had available to be able to make good decisions as to what team and support that they needed rather than guessing and hoping for the best. Not to mention eliminating $80,000 of ATO debt in 12 months, but also working less due to knowing that they needed less revenue if they were to use the funds in the way that Profit First was laid out with the allocated percentages. So that's just a snapshot of Profit First. But what I do want to talk to you about is, and what I get challenged a lot of the time with is, well, that's great, but how does Profit First as an offering, what does it look like for an accountant? What can I charge for it? How does it fit into an existing business model as an accountant? How can I get existing clients excited about it? How do I find the time to get certified, learn something new, roll out, you know, as a service to clients? And probably the most common thing is, how do I get a return of investment from money and time in becoming a certified Profit First professional? And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. So let's start with that first question, which is Profit First as a service. How does it actually work for accountants? We're going to go back to time again. I know we have a limited resource, so what I'm going to talk to you about today is how you can implement Profit First as a service for things that you're already doing. There are numerous possibilities when it comes to Profit First service offerings, but let's look at what you're already doing and how Profit First can slot into that. If you're wanting to create it as a completely separate service, it's absolutely possible, but a lot of our accountants want to know how they can start to get that return on investment by doing it with the things that they're already doing. So let's jump into it. How many of you here do company setups and entity setups? I'd love to know that. And what has that got to do with Profit First? Okay, I can see a few hands are raised. We have the best opportunity to be dealing with clients at the company setup stage, whether it is a brand new business, a different business, a different setup, an evolution of a business. It's because instead of just doing the setup, we could be having a package offering, and we do this ourselves. So it's a tried and tested thing and it works very well. And I know that a number of other Profit First accountants do it as well, where as part of the company setup, you have a session with the client to really understand what they're trying to achieve. You then set up the entity as well as advise them as to how to set up their bank accounts. If they're startups, it's the easiest way to ensure that they're profitable from day one. If it's an evolution of business, it can help them reset. And so then including some profit first advice and profit first implementation and setup in that is very lucrative. So you don't have to share, but for company setups that I'm aware of and that sort of thing, a lot of people charge anywhere between $1,600 to $2,000, some more, some less, but let's go with the average. What we've done is incorporated in a package and charge double that. And it doesn't mean that we have to spend a whole heap more time. We're just giving them really timely profit first information. The next thing is with your existing clients. As an accountant, you have a client base that already needs help. So instead of, trying to make things more complicated by doing the three-way forecast management reports that they glaze over and don't listen to you, instead, especially those that are your top clients where you're in contact already, you could be implementing profit first management meetings. So what does it actually look like? What is the assessment around where their money's going? What changes can they make on a quarterly basis? What is the biggest challenge and what is the goal that they're striving towards, while using real figures and in a way that makes sense to them? You could also provide them with updates and comparisons to what had happened in the last month, last quarter, whatever it is, using the profit first methodology that doesn't require 10 to 15 hours to do that. What we've noticed ourselves, but also with profit first accountants, is that doing it in this way makes sense to them, and therefore they gain the confidence to start making really good decisions in their business. And they keep coming back to you as a trusted advisor to help them grow, which ultimately serves everyone. Next up is that annual tax meeting. Even if you're so snowed under with the work that you're doing, you'd be meeting or talking to a client at least once a year. At that time, a lot of the time, clients, you're explaining the tax return, you're explaining what has happened in the last year. At that time, that's where the shocked looks come up. That's where they don't understand what has happened or what possibly went wrong in that year to have them either at a loss or at a profit with no cash in the bank. And so being able to explain to them what has happened and offer them a solution so that this doesn't happen again next year. Profit first fits into that. So there are three things that we're already doing that profit first just slots into. The next being new client support. As accountants, we have clients come to us all the time, and their biggest request is, I just want a proactive accountant who can help me. And interestingly enough, I received this from someone who was looking for a new accountant, and these were the requirements that they were looking for. So nothing particularly out of the ordinary. Personal income tax returns, annual company, trust, BAS, tax planning. For this person, they wanted efficiencies, so using the apps and that sort of thing. You can see cash flow forecasting discussions was important to them, tax efficiencies, and the profit first methodology. So a lot more people now are seeking out accountants that not only understand the profit first methodology because they have read the book, but those that are certified and trained and have a community that can support them. And you can see that out of the two that were in consideration, only one of them ticked all the boxes. And so you could really set yourself up with the new client support to incorporate profit first from the very beginning, so that they know that as part of everything else, this is something that can be included as well. And then of course, we've got our advisory meetings. You could have specific advisory meetings that are around the profit first methodology or incorporated in what you already do. It can be another bolt into the advisory that you're doing. So these are just some examples. There are a lot more, but I don't want to bombard you with too much information. But I do want to say that you're in the right place. So if you're an accountant who has an established practice and that you're active with clients, that you're looking for new ways to serve them to really ensure that cash flow isn't a problem, that you really have a genuine desire to help your clients, and that you and them want to become more profitable, then you are in the right place. One of the things that you do need to know is that this is a tried and tested, proven formula that works. Yes, you're going to get the haters out there that say it doesn't work, but when you dig deeper, what you find is they haven't actually implemented it properly, or they've kind of implemented profit first. This works globally in all industries, including industries like farming and things that don't really make sense. It attracts clients that are actually committed to making a change, rather than clients that just need to get stuff done and not see the value in what it is that you do. It also means that you can charge premium fees for something that is easy for someone to understand. And it grows your top line revenue and your profitability. So let's jump into what the Profit First training actually looks like and why it's important, because I know that there's a lot of people out in the public that say that it's, if you get the book, you can implement Profit First yourself. And we do recommend that everyone read the book, but there's a difference between reading a book and doing something and then getting the training from the organization where they live and breathe this over a number of years. And so what does it mean to be a certified Profit First professional? This is, it's important because we ensure that you know what it is that you're doing, that you have the confidence to be able to do it with your clients, that if you have questions, you've got a place to go. It also means that you get access to information, resources, training that are specific to Australia and New Zealand, not just a generic, this should fit everyone. It also, what we've also done is modified things to fit what happens here. It also allows you to know how to do all of the things from a Profit First assessment as to, where to look, or if it's really challenging, what is possible, what is the starting point, what is another way that we can do things. That's what we're here to support you with. It also means that you don't have to create things. We have all of the resources, from the calculators to the explanations to presentations to workshops to you name it, we've kind of got it. But what I will say is that certification is just the starting point. A lot of people think that, well, we'll become certified and then everything, that's it. That's all you get. That's all that there is. Certification means that you are doing a quality service, because I know that's important to you and your clients, but it also means that it's just the starting point. We have many ways that you can implement Profit First, from one-to-many models to one-to-one to specific industries to only doing workshops or only speaking. And so it's important to know that the journey can continue with your business. In terms of what's actually required, you're required to implement it in your own business. We want to walk the talk. But the most important thing is that we here at Profit First Australia and New Zealand will guide you to be as profitable as possible and make changes in your own business as you're learning how to implement Profit First, not just in your business, but in your client's business. And that can be as hands-on or hands-off as you would like, which means that you can get return on investment from the changes in your business too. We've had Profit First professionals who have reduced $80,000 in debt in their first year through implementing Profit First in their own business. They've received pricing support so that they've increased their revenue. They've, also managed to gain speaking opportunities for local areas because they can genuinely speak about what Profit First has done for their business. The second stage is implementing it in 2 beta clients. So this is you picking 2 of your existing clients to implement Profit First with in a pilot kind of run. And what that means is that you get given the step-by-step information as to how to complete a profit assessment, how to present it, how to, really help the client get those quick wins so that they can make those changes as well as that sustainable change over time. You're not expected to do this for free at all. We have Profit First professionals who choose to do it for feedback and testimonials. Others charge 50%, and we recommend that you charge 50% of usual fees with these clients and that they work with you. And this is your way of gaining that confidence to understand, one, how it works in different industries, what resources are available to you. Also allows you to, and I hint, recommend that you go with the hard ones, because as soon as you can get the hard ones done, the easy ones are just an absolute breeze. It also means that you can come back to us for support and we can help you implement it with your clients. And then the third sort of part of it is integrating it into your business. So this isn't about us telling you what to do. It isn't about being a franchise, because that's not what we are. It is about really understanding, how does this fit in? How can you work smarter? How can you integrate Profit First further into things that you're already doing, as I explained prior? And also, what is the pricing that is related to it? How can you ensure that your team, if you have a team, can support you to do so? What is the marketing around that? And we have these resources available to you. As part of integrating in your business offering, we have in the university coaching skills section, which allows you to really hone in and identify with your clients what they truly are trying to achieve, not just what they're saying, which I know as accountants can be a really hard thing sometimes, because they're saying one thing, but they really mean another. And to finish off with the certification, there is an exam where you need to have a 90% pass rate. By the time you get to the exam, don't stress, everyone does pass with flying colors and you can redo it. The reason why we do ask you to do it is just so that we can ensure that you're confident in what it is that you're doing. And then we will also give you branding and support to announce this to the world once you are certified. The other things that come with the certification is that it is teachable and scalable. So some of our Profit First professional accountants hire a junior accountant or a junior person for them to teach them or go through the process of whatever way you're offering Profit First, so that they can do it up to a certain point so that you can review and just do the calls with the client. It is very teachable, it is very scalable, and it is easy to implement. But more importantly, it allows you to be different. You're not just another accountant. You are an accountant who, has implemented Profit First themselves and utilizes this to make a difference with your clients. And people are seeking out that from accountants. It's what makes you proactive. So I want to talk a little bit about what's possible as a Profit First professional. And Nadine, who's on screen, has been a Profit First professional for 5 years now. She's an accountant. And what she managed to do personally was pay off all of her credit card debt. She also went through some really difficult circumstances personally, which meant that she had to accumulate funds and utilize that in her personal life whilst there was a lot going on there, as well as she gained the confidence to increase all of her prices so that what she was already doing was more profitable. We also have other PFPs especially accountants, who come to us and say, I have to become a Profit First professional because my clients are actually begging me to just implement it with them. And so it's not just me saying that, it is what is happening out in the world today. The other thing is the revenue increase. So this here was a survey that was done globally, not just within Australia. So that's the other thing. We are a global family, and you do get access to not only Australia and New Zealand, but the US and other global communities to be able to really gain as much support, knowledge, resources, and understanding. And as you can see here, this is compared to Xero Accounting Bookkeeping Industry Performance Report and what our members managed to achieve. And as you can see, the longer they were a Profit First professional, the better the return. We have had, speaking to a few other Profit First professionals this week, and one of them had let me know that they managed to double their income within 12 to 18 months, working 40% less. Like, that's what I strive for. I want to work less, not more. Now, Vanessa, who is an accountant, she's a mastery level Profit First professional. I've got some statistics for you because she loves her statistics. And she let us know that Profit First Consulting now makes up 39% of her revenue and is rapidly growing, 39%. And she's on the path to increase this to 50% by the new financial year. She says that it's extremely profitable as it costs her close to nothing to deliver. And I think this is the big difference. Like I know for a fact in my business as well, that if we're trying to do cash flow forecasting and that sort of thing, all of the software and apps gets really quite expensive, whereas delivering Profit First really costs close to nothing. She is a mastery member, which is a higher investment than the core Profit First professional membership. And she just needs one client per year to cover that. She's different to normal, and she said normal, not me, firms, as she gets to work with her clients on a weekly or monthly basis, and it's in real time so that she can support them as things happen, not after the fact, where they're going, well, how did I even get here and what went wrong? And the clients now understand their businesses without big words or jargon and that sort of thing, and become confident in making great decisions for themselves. So it's not just about you being that advisor, but empowering your clients to understand what's happening in their business and what decisions that they can make going forward. And she said that the opportunities that this brought her was to challenge herself and her clients to do things that she wouldn't normally do. So she's become, she's co-authored 2 books now, and she's been, paid keynote speakers at retreats and met some amazing people and amazing opportunities that she didn't even realize was possible until she decided to implement Profit First. So really we have 2 options. You can stay where you are, doing what you're doing, watching your clients struggle, having no time, and being unable to offer the strategic advice that you want to that will work all of the time. Or you could consider becoming a Profit First professional and offering services that deliver those results, but in a way that is smarter, not harder. So being a Profit First professional is not for everyone. So this isn't about me standing here today and saying, sign up, come be part of the membership. We only want the right people and that those members being proactive, caring about really making a difference to stop the cash flow problems, that are collaborative, because it's a very collaborative community. We share everything. We're also being willing to learn and share yourself, because you're an expert in what it is that you do, that you actually want to be profitable. So it's at the forefront of your business as well as your clients' businesses, and that you want to work in a way that serves you. And that is different to someone else. So growth for you may be working less versus, someone else who wants to grow a team. And that there is an interview application process where you will either speak to myself or one of the Profit First guides, so that we can understand where you're at, answer any questions you have, and see whether becoming a Profit First professional is the right option for you. So it's very important that it's a full-bodied yes from us all. It's not a pushy, salesy, sign the dotted line thing. We want you to be on the mission with us to help business owners to not have the issues that they're having with cash flow. So what do you need to know? The important things that you really need to know is that certification usually takes around 3 to 6 months. And I say that because accountants are busy. It can be done in a lot less time, and we will be having, once our membership period closes, a fast track certification process, which means that we will be working with our new members over a 4-week period to really get this ingrained, certified, done, so that you can go out into the world. The certification includes an exam that requires a 90% pass rate, and that you have to have implemented it in your own business and 2 beta clients. It's super important that you're aware. The other thing is as well is that if you really want to be able to leverage everything that's at your disposal, then you need to be able to make time for 2 hours a week. One, so that you can attend our open office call, which is 1 hour per week. They're not mandatory, but they are full of gold. And then another hour to really make sure that you're progressing forward, and so that you can become certified as quickly as possible. Our membership period at the moment is open we're only open twice a year. And so the next open is from the 1st of March to the end of May, and then we're closed again until September. And that's open from September to November. And that's it, because when you're inside, what we really do is work with our members to ensure that they're getting everything that they need. The other thing to know is that we have it's an online university where you can do things at your own pace, but you can also get that one-on-one support. I'll go into that in a second. I do want to talk about some bonuses that if you do join, we have prepared additional support for you, because we want you to start on the right foot with the right mindset, and we're offering you some enrollment bonuses. And those being the how to prepare your business for Profit First. So we have a training on preparing your own business for Profit First. We have training on the power of Profit First itself, which you can then dismantle and share with your clients, which highlights things like what Profit First can do, such as earn more money, get more time back, that sort of thing. We also have a training available to you that will help you to price your Profit First services. So you're not just thrown out into the wild going, okay, what do I charge? And we also have 2 others, which is how to outsource and build your team in a way that suits you. Because again, if your biggest issue is time, then you need support. And it doesn't have to be staff, it doesn't have to be a big team, but you do need to know how. And that's using the Profit First methodology and framework, as well as how to build a business you love. Because I tell you what, I've been back in the rat race, hating the business, hating the industry, really not loving what I was doing at all. And I tell you what, building a business that you actually love and show up to, well worth it. If you were to book a call this week and for some time in March and join by the 31st of March, you'll also get an extra one-on-one strategy session with me to build Profit First as a service in your business. So this is not something that's in the university. It is bespoke to whoever I am sitting with at the time to really ensure that you get that return on investment. So I'm sure you're asking, what's the price? And if you haven't got a membership pack, then Michelle will chuck into the chat at some point the link so that all of this information is in detail. And the pricing is a tiered pricing. So you don't pay more for certification or membership. It's not a cost on top of things. And as you can see, as you stay longer and longer, things go down. So year 1 is $9,900 per annum, or on a payment plan of $990 per month. Year 2, it goes down to $7,700. Year 3 is $5,500, and year 4 and beyond is $5,000. The reason why we do it this way is because in the first 2 years in particular, there is a lot of support that we want to be able to offer you, and we want to ensure that you get everything that you need, from one-on-one support to really integrating this into your business. And we also acknowledge that as you go on, we want to make this as accessible as possible to you. So if you are interested to know more, then your next steps will be to book a call. The Q&A call is if you have questions, you're not yet ready to sign up, but you want to explore what it looks like for you. If you are feeling ready to become a Profit First professional, then you can book that interview. And one of the things that I get asked a lot is, okay, so that's quite a lot of money. How do I get that return on investment? And so what I really want to ask you is, what have you spent the same amount of money on and not received a return for? I know personally for me, I've spent more than $10,000 in marketing and it didn't translate to the top line revenue or the profitability that I was hoping. Not to mention the amount of freaking subscriptions and workflow things that I've paid for and implemented that I never fully used properly, and it didn't bring the efficiencies that I wanted. And so I really want to challenge you to look at your top 20% of clients. If 50% of those were to sign up today for Profit First services and you charge them $1,000 a month, and that's on the lower end of what people are charging, how much would that be in your business? Really look at that. And how many clients would you need to be able to cover that investment? But more importantly, I really want to talk to you about why I'm here. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I'm sharing this because I have lived it, and I truly believe that Profit First is an amazing addition to your accounting business. It is a game changer for you and your clients, as I shared about Nadine and Vanessa. There's many more Profit First accountants that are doing great things. There's also the collaboration that is available. We have more demand from people wanting to work with Profit First professionals than Profit First professionals available at the moment, and it's only going to increase as things get difficult. It also means that if we have more Profit First professionals, we can stop the cash flow issues. And I just really think that you need to consider whether you are having the impact that you're wanting to have. Now, let's talk about nitty-gritty in terms of what's actually included. So some of the benefits are you get some one-on-one calls. So any resource or training you need is already in the university. So you don't need to wait for one-on-one support. You can get everything that you need self-paced whenever you're ready to do so. But we do find that if you do tap into the Profit First guides, and we have guides that can help specifically with marketing, specifically with the technical Profit First, and to help you with you. So your mindset, your plans, accountability, and that sort of thing, that's available to you. We do have a very active and collaborative community. And so if you were to join, we would expect that you would also be active and contribute. We have weekly open office sessions where we either have a deeper dive into particular things, such as I share everything that I do in my business that works, and you provide resources and that sort of thing. We look at sales, we look at marketing, we answer specific questions that have come up from other members. There's experience shares. We also have a directory of Profit First professionals on our website so that people can get in contact directly with you. There is education, support, certification, marketing. We have local calls as well as the access to global calls. We also have a Facebook group for members to connect. And it really is a family. We do call it a family, and it's not just something we say. And I just want to remind you that if you were to book your call this week for a time in March, then that is where you would get that additional one-on-one support. And here are the links. And to finish off, what I want to do is talk more to some frequently asked questions that we get from accountants, and then any questions you might have, because I want to be able to answer anything that might be on your mind or something that you're wanting to know. So here are some of the frequently asked questions we get. How many Profit First professional accountants do you have? We have a total of 60 members at the moment, and about 25% of that are accountants, and they are full. And so we need more Profit First professionals. When does certification start is another question that we get. Certification starts immediately. So from when you gain access, you can get started. There's nothing stopping you. It's instant access. You can start with the modules and you can move through. We do touch base with you to ensure that you have access to everything, to understand what you're trying to achieve, so that we can support you to do that and keep you on track. Other questions we get is, what if I have other accountants or bookkeepers on my team? And what people normally ask me at that point in time is, do they have to do everything? So the way it's set up is that with your what you're paying, you get access to all of the materials, all of the calls. You can get access to your other team members if you're going to train them yourself at no extra cost. So they can get access to the university, go through things, you teach them. They don't get the support from us. They don't get to attend the live calls or events or anything like that, but they can gain access to that. We have other Profit First professionals who decide they want specific team members to also get certified. And so we do allow for that. And that means they get the exact same access that you would get for half of the investment. So that is how that works there. The other frequently asked question we get is about half of my clients are personal. Does profit first work for them? And the answer is absolutely. Profit, as we know, personal life affects business. And generally, if they're hemorrhaging money in their personal life, they're taking it from their business. And so profit first can be implemented on a personal level. And we actually have profit first professionals who have decided to niche down into the personal side only, because that then flows through into the business. So that's not a problem. Another question that we get is, I'm an accountant, but I don't do taxes. Can I still do profit first? Yes. As I mentioned earlier, you don't have to be a tax agent to be able to do profit first. In fact, we want you to take your accountant hat off to learn profit first, so that, you know, you're learning it as that student in a very different way. And then you can integrate that into how you do things. You don't need to be a tax agent, and you can actually offer profit first standalone, not integrated in your offerings as well. And then the other question that we get is, does profit first count towards CPD for CPA and that sort of thing? And the answer is yes. So we have spoken with CPA, IPA, all of those bodies, and they recognize all of the time that you do here, including our calls, our open office calls, and they count towards your CPD. So does anybody have any questions that they would like answered at this point in time? Don't be shy. I'm very happy to answer them. You can either put it in the chat or the Q&A. I'll put up on the screen in the meantime these. So if you're interested, what if you're just starting out? Well, that is totally fine. The one thing that we won't do is put you in a position where you're going to financially struggle. So you really need to know whether or not this is something that you can invest in. That said, we have had profit first professionals, and they're mainly individuals. That's totally fine. We have got plenty of resources for you to start without existing clients, how to get new clients and that sort of thing. We have experts that come in and help us to grow our businesses as well. It definitely will be a longer process to get that return on investment because you don't have an existing client base, but it's definitely not impossible, and we do everything we can to support you. And if they're mainly individual, you've actually got a great group of people that you can help personally by utilizing Profit First. And we do have resources around how to implement Profit First personally as well. And then we also have another question here, out of curiosity, how many Profit First professionals worldwide? So we have now worldwide, there's about 600 of us. And that is, you know, the main Profit First professionals are in the US. There's about 340 in the US. And then we've got headquarters in other areas. So we have the UK, we have Canada, we've got the Netherlands, Germany, and Australia and New Zealand here. And this is not something that we're wanting to scale to be 100,000 people. We're looking to have a maximum of 1,000 to 2,000 people globally, because we want the right people to be able to join us. If there are any other questions, I'm really, really happy to answer them. And there are no stupid questions. And if you feel like I've spoken about it before, I'm happy to rehash anything. Just let me know if you have any questions at all. I feel like I've spoken to you a lot, so I'll give you a moment to digest. How are we feeling about things? Are we clear on how you could possibly implement this in your business? And what service offerings you could have? You could raise your hand, I'd love to see. Beautiful, great. All right, I'm going to give it another minute to see if any other questions. My practice only offers business services. Could Profit First work for me? Yes, and business services in what way? Because any business at all Profit First can be implemented with. So if you didn't offer tax or advisory services, you could absolutely create an offering that is Profit First specific. So a Profit First assessment, implementation and rollout. And that's how you're certified to do that sort of thing on a one-on-one basis that can then become a one-to-many. So that's absolutely possible. And we have all of the resources for you to be able to do that. We find that if it's the first time that you are introducing sort of cash flow support, it has a very good uptake by business clients because they're generally stressed or facing some sort of difficulty in their business. So I hope that answers that question. Let me know if you have anything more specific in there around what you mean by business services, and I'll be happy to give you further examples. What I would also recommend is have a look at our directory, reach out to some of the Profit First professionals and hear their experiences. We do have a panel next week, and I'll get Michelle to pop the details in the chat where you can hear from them what they do with Profit First, how it works for them, what their gains have been and what their client gains have been and how long they've been Profit First professionals for, so that you're not just hearing me tell you that it's great, because there's more than just me in this community. So if you're wanting to be a part of that, that's free. It's on our socials as well, so that you can go back to that as well. And reach out to Profit First professionals. They're always really happy to have conversation. I want to offer Profit First, and sorry, I'm just coming back to it. Clients on implementing in their business. Are we then able to refer to? Yes. So the great thing about this community is that we're collaborative. So we have accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches. We even have some people that are specific to industry. So we have a Profit First professional who has been in the IT industry, and Profit First changed his life. And now he coaches other people to implement Profit First and make that change. And we also have someone else in hospitality and that sort of thing. So my point is, it can be very specific to what it is that you do, and they then refer to other accountants, other bookkeepers in areas. And we even have Profit First professionals that might do, you know, pricing and mindset stuff, and that's not your jam. So you might collaborate with them and refer to them. So we definitely are very open in that respect. So yes. Let me know if you have any other questions. I know that Michelle's just put the information. We're going to be live on Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn on Tuesday, the 28th of February at 2:30 p.m. Melbourne time with our accountants panel, if you want to hear from them. And we also invite you to, if you have any questions, either book the Q&A call or email us, because we are very open, very happy to answer any specific questions as well. Awesome. If there are no other questions, I'm going to thank you so much for being with me for the hour. I've absolutely loved sharing a bit more about Profit First and how we can help our clients. Have a great day, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with some of you soon. Thank you.